What's up, y'all? How we doing? I'm talking to you, not
Oh,
the
you're talking
camera.
to me?
Yeah.
You talk first. I talk first.
You talk first. I talk first.
One of the worst lines ever in cinematic history.
Uh,
But anyway, let's not get down that rabbit hole. How's your week been?
It's better if you would have started this podcast off a little better.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's been good. I'll say it's not a bad week at all. I'll say it wasn't too busy. Worked. I did get my MacBook, so another
Dude.
step in the direction of
dude.
moving for photography. Wrote down some plans too. I brought my notebook out and started hitting what I need to accomplish in my short term to make sure I get everything up and rolling.
Dude, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
I know, like once you get like a piece of equipment that's pretty significant, like it gives you that extra bit of motivation
Yeah.
to really get after it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Is like I haven't been shooting as much as I wanted to, purely on the basis of I hate editing on my phone.
Yeah.
And like I love Lightroom Mobile. It's so nice to like have a picture and just like do a quick edit, but to actually like sit down and be able to like do a gallery or like a bunch of shots, I'm stoked for that. So
Heck yeah, dude, that's awesome.
yeah. Sorry, Oliver distracted me. Made a little noise.
Okay.
No, he's good.
Oh, he does. He's been doing that sometimes in his sleep.
Yeah, he's still asleep.
Cool.
But how was your week?
It was good. During the week, just kind of chilled. Typical, still on paternity leave, so I just had Oliver. And then over the weekend, I took Taylor and Oliver. We went on the ferry.
Nice.
And we found a nice guitar for really cheap.
Is that a Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, it's Facebook Marketplace. So we just figured we'd make a day out of it and take the ferry. And even though it's not super cheap to take the ferry, it just made it more fun.
Yeah. Was it like, did you take your car or just?
You took our car.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because we had to drive to that person's house.
Ah.
So
How much is that?
It's like $20 for your car both ways.
Oh.
It's like $40 round trip.
It's not terrible.
Because I think most people don't do it within like a few hours span and go there and back. Like,
Yeah, I would say I've gone over the ferry, but I've always Ubered locations.
Yeah.
But that was just like day trips to Cape May. Nothing crazy.
I think it could have worked it out maybe to have like the guy meet up there, but it's just more fun just to kind of because we drove around, looked at some places, but yeah, that was good. So the week was good until the end of the week.
Are you talking football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know everybody's gonna be mad talking about the Chiefs, but dude, I was so annoyed the Chiefs won.
I'm so tired of seeing
And
it.
not for the reason people think. I'm so tired of seeing the Chiefs. They're like this generation's Patriots, but more annoying.
Yeah, I think like the prevalence of social media with this generation's like Patriots, like Mahomes is just the next Tom Brady, and it's so much worse because it's always in your face.
Yeah, it is though. Like, I want to be clear. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
I want to be clear that I am not upset by any means because of the Taylor Swift stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that like a lot of people are confused a lot, especially like I see a lot on Facebook, a bunch of like Taylor Swift fans that are always upset about people getting mad about Taylor Swift. And the problem isn't Taylor Swift's on the screen. It's we hate the Chiefs. We've hated the Chiefs for the last like 5 years.
Yeah, and then it's just like
And then that's just adding fuel to the fire.
a little salt on the wound.
Yeah, exactly. Like no one hates Taylor Swift. I mean, some people might, but like
I don't like her music.
most
It's
people I
fine.
know are not upset about Taylor Swift. It's just when you show Taylor Swift, you're just shoving the Chiefs in our face more. We're like, now we got this to deal with on top of Patrick Mahomes and the referees
ruining AFC
ruining
championships.
games. I don't know, man.
I'm also upset because I'm a Ravens fan, but
yeah, that doesn't help.
that hurts. Yeah, and then it's a nice reminder all over social media that the Chiefs won.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's life is perfect.
I think we were talking about this before we even got on here. Like, if Taylor Swift was dating any other professional athlete, I don't care what team, what sport, it would not be as big of a deal as the fact that she's dating a player on the one team in sports history that's like right now.
Currently
it
is
currently
annoying.
is having success year after year.
Yeah,
Like it's all we're mad about. Like it's just as sports fans, it is not fun watching the same team win every year. Like I'm a Colts fan. My team hasn't been relevant for a while.
yeah,
So like I'm not bitter about that. It is what it is. I'm annoyed because I want to see teams get their shot.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
I
because I'm a
agree.
Colts fan. I'm used to us stinking, so it's fun to see teams that aren't normally good become good.
Yeah.
Like this year, it would have been so cool if the Browns, the Texans. Yeah, I only like the Texans because they're in the same division, but like, I feel like
It's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see young like quarterbacks and
Even the
teams
Bills,
that,
Josh Allen.
I would have loved to see Josh Allen Super Bowl.
Like they've been good, but they just always lose in the AFC Championship. Or the
Yeah.
whatever his conference game.
I would have been hyped for the Ravens as the first year Lamar's healthy in the postseason, besides like his first year when he won MVP, and he just pooped a turd.
Yep.
It was a terrible game.
And I tried to stick up for him during the game, or before the game I was hyped. I was finally like, maybe he is a real quarterback.
Yeah.
Not just a running back, but he proved me right and wrong at the same time, I guess.
His pocket presence is incredible regular season, but not yesterday.
Yeah, that's
not good.
That was pretty brutal. But I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like I could just rant
About it all. I can rant about sports all day.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. That nobody is upset with Taylor Swift. We can't stand Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah. It's true.
So
That's true. I'll see if we can dive into a little bit of like things that we've been talking about this past week, and like I guess what we're most excited for with like our kids growing up, because we talked yesterday when like Amelia being a little bit older than Oliver, like you were talking how excited you were like with growth, but how much you love the size he's at right now. Like
Yeah.
you love that he's not like absolutely super fragile.
Mm-hmm.
But is there like something with growth, since you see like where Amelia's at, only like a year older, a little bit over a year? Is there something that excites you with that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just excited that I'll get to like actually play with him.
Yeah.
And like even like watching you, like seeing Amelia, like she's learning words and the way that she's able to communicate. Like I think that's what I'm excited for, is just to be able to start communicating with him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know I'm gonna miss every phase a little bit once I get there, but I think that's what I'm excited about, is being able to communicate with him and start to see his personality show.
Yeah, I think that's been the coolest part with Amelia's growth, is that personality. I'm just like, dude, you're so cool. Like, she's such a cool little kid, and like she's so excited about life all the time. It's really fun to watch. But I think for me, like with her growing, like I love right now is like she is communicating. Like she's doing some ASL, like telling me what she wants to eat when she's wants milk. But she's starting to talk, like you had said. You'd heard it a little bit yesterday, but I can't wait for her to like talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Just like conversations like with your kid. Like I want to know what's going on in their head all the time.
Yeah.
Because you just see them playing and doing stuff, and you're like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
But like to be able to like her communicate all that, I'm so excited.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that's the big thing you said. I'm curious. I just want to know what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, like to see that finally come out a little bit. Just because now, I mean, like you said, he's not super fragile, but still, it's all he does is right now. He just got to his like laughing phase.
Yeah.
So which is really fun, making him laugh and stuff. But I really like. Are you laughing because you have to poop? Are you laughing because it's funny? Like it's just you don't really know. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's also cool because like I can just hold him for hours while I just watch football or watch whatever's on TV.
Yeah, falls asleep in your arms still, stuff like that.
Little stuff like that, and I'm gonna miss, but
yeah, I was like with growing with like Amelia, it's like I missed the falling asleep, like when she was first born, watching playoff baseball and she slept on my chest. Those are probably like one of my favorite memories. But now like I just cherish the small moments with like when I pick her up and she lays her head on my shoulder. I'm like, this is great too, but I miss the tiny little nugget. I'll probably always call her my nugget, but
yeah. I feel like you're always gonna miss the past, but you're always gonna be excited for what's to come too.
Yeah.
But it's cool though. I don't know. I'm just excited to, even like in the short term, and still really in the future, but even in the summer, like he'll be able to sit up.
Yeah.
And be able to take him to the beach and stuff like that. So
excited for those drive-on days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
sit out there and watch them like play.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited just to be able to take him out more.
Yeah. Especially as like it's been so brutally cold. It's like outside time has been, terrible. Doing anything outside right now is awful.
It's just it's not even like I'm scared to take him out necessarily, because now he's 2 months. He's got most of his shots and stuff, so it's just so cold. Like it's not even fun.
It's not enjoyable for me. So how is this kid gonna enjoy anything? Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna be pushing him in a stroller and freezing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess on like the same kind of topic as like talking about what we're excited for, like is there something right now that scares you, or like even in the future, like with being a dad, like is there something right now that you're just like I'm I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like,
I kind of had that moment today. Just like today was one of those days where he didn't have his typical routine,
yeah,
and I didn't have my typical routine last night, so they kind of just clashed. And I'm super tired today, which is why I look like a bum right now, just to address that. And people are probably like, "This guy looks like an idiot."
this guy hasn't showered in weeks.
Yeah, have showered in months. But no, I mean, it definitely. I don't know. It's today was kind of one of those moments where it made me think, like, it's not all like just cute, fun and games and stuff. And obviously, I've had moments where I've been lack of sleep, but outside of that, I don't know. It's just kind of change is. I'm excited for the change, but I'm also scared of it.
Yeah,
Just because of, I think for me, I'm scared. It's far down the road, but like 5-10 years from now, just with the way the world is and the economy is right now,
yeah.
I think like the biggest stress on me thinking about the future has been money. Like it's been financial.
Yeah,
I mean, I know that I'm not really necessarily worried about how I'm gonna raise him, stuff like that, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm always stressed about money, just because it's tight right now.
I mean,
for us,
yeah.
I mean, it's tight like that. It's tight for everybody right now, but that's just been like something that's, I don't know, been causing a lot of stress for the both of us.
Yeah. Do you think it's like money to provide like basic needs, or like money being frustrated with like your life's not where you want it to be at the moment?
Honestly, it's both, because technically he should be going to daycare in like a couple months, but he's probably not going to, because you have to get him on a wait list. We haven't gotten him on a wait list yet because we can't really pay for daycare, just because it's so expensive.
You're telling me.
Yeah, so it's just with all of our expenses, and then now having him as an expense, along with it in daycare is like ridiculously expensive. Like daycare is the same amount as our total rent.
Yeah.
I think actually like, it's more now.
Yeah.
The daycare we would take him to, and like we have help with Taylor's family, but so we're just gonna have to try to make it work until we get to a point where we don't have a choice. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, outside of all that, basic need stuff, definitely am stressed about where I'm at too. I don't know. Not to keep ranting, but
No, I
it's
asked
just
the question to being honest answers.
yeah. But it's been stressful too, because now that I have him, we talked about this a little bit last week, but having that balance, especially, it's really tough, especially when you're not where you want to be and you're a parent, because you, especially a lot of people know who are in the creative industry, you're only going to make it. It's easier to make it when you put out more stuff.
Yeah.
For people to see, people to recommend you, or just for people to find you, notice you. You have to cold call. You have to do all these things that take time, especially when you have another job. So I don't know. To kind of like, I guess, cut the rant short, I think a fear of mine is not having the time to get to the point where I'm at to give him a better life.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm always going to be in this place of, like, limbo, where I just have a job and then I'm constantly pursuing something on the side that never really fully pans out because I can't give it the time it needs to be successful.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It's like, there's like a weird, it's like a time too, is like when your kid's so young, it's like you have less time. Obviously, when they go to school, it's a little different. Like, if you have days off in the week, like, there's, I don't want to say free daycare, but like they're getting an education, they're gone, and you have time. But those first few years are solely devoted.
Yeah, definitely.
The balance is hard. I'll say we talked about it a lot, but we're never going to get it right. It's just frustrating, like trying to figure it out while you're growing.
Yeah.
But
It's funny how I didn't, like, at this point in my life is when I'm now the most motivated I've ever been, partially because of having him, to like want to make sure I have these things for him when he's older.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the hardest time of my life to want to do those things.
It's crazy how it doesn't ever seem to align.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have had the mentality I have now with the motivation and like the knowledge that I've sought out, if I would have had that 5 years ago,
Totally different story.
Totally
Be in a
different
totally
story.
different place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're always like gonna be at that point of like, if I knew what I knew now, or
yeah,
just
it's
any of
hindsight.
yeah, hindsight is 2020, but sorry, making noise, just
Yeah.
making sure he was still asleep. Yeah, I'm like a little bit in that boat, but with I think what scares me right now is I'm not the short term stuff. Like I'm super okay with like watching her grow and like her develop and stuff like that. Like I love everything she's doing, the talking, the all of this. But that comes with the territory of like instilling good values into a tiny human, and that I think is like what terrifies me. Is I think Kirsten and I are good people and that we have good hearts and stuff like that, but now I'm responsible for making sure another person has that. And I'm not doing it alone, but half of it's going to come from me, which is, I think, terrifying. But I know it's so far down the road, but like there's like little incremental things that will definitely shape who she is now. But the overall picture is 10 years down the road.
Yeah, but it's scary too, man. Like, I think about me as a kid and how my parents. I definitely think my parents are a huge basis for who I am today, but also there's things that are out of your parents' control, or that would be out of your control.
Yeah.
When Amelia's older, and that's the kind of stuff that's scary too. Like, I think about the friends that he might make, or he could be led astray by idiots.
Yeah.
You know, because we had friends that we thought were cool, and then now that we're older, we're like, that guy was not cool.
Someone peaked in high school.
Yeah, but in the moment, you don't see that, like,
Yeah.
because especially for someone who's vulnerable. Like, I was a shorter, awkward kid in middle school.
Yeah.
So when I saw someone who was 15, 16 when I was 13, doing things that someone in their 20s was doing, like, in the moment, you think that dude's cool. Like,
Yeah.
how can I be like that? I need to, like, I want to. Like, you feel like this. You almost have, like, I know I had like little man syndrome. So
I think I still do.
yeah,
I
where like I would just get a little bit. I'd have a little bit of short fuse, or try to, like, I don't know, overcompensate for being short when I was younger. So
Yeah.
you never know. I don't know. It sounds dumb, but like little stuff like that. All it takes is you to be insecure for one moment, or for all of you to be insecure for one moment, to let some punk older kid influence him to do something stupid, and then now he's down some destructive path.
Yeah. And then it's like balancing like discipline and love of like as a parent. You're like, no, that's wrong. Like I love you still through that mistake, but
You're never gonna get it. It's gonna be perfect.
No. I was like, we're never gonna be perfect parents. The kid's never gonna be perfect. But like you said, influenced by other people, it's like our kids are gonna eventually spend so much time at school or any other activities. They're surrounded by other people, and I feel like today, like I know that you are who you surround yourself with. So like what happens if like my kid's classroom, she's surrounded by idiots or like
Exactly.
people who have poor morals and stuff like that. It's like that's the things that terrify me, like because I know I was influenced by my surroundings, regardless if they were good or bad.
And what do you think when your parents told you should be hanging out with those people?
I thought they were wrong.
Exactly.
They were stupid.
It's like every movie has like those stereotypical parents, like, you shouldn't be hanging out with those punks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, screw you, mom. Like,
yeah.
in the
You're
movies,
like,
but
I
then-
know better.
And then obviously there's definitely a fine line of, I think instead of the initial answer should just be saying, you shouldn't hang out with those kids. Like, maybe like do some digging, or like try to be involved in your kid's life where you get to meet these kids so you can understand them and see who they are too before you make that assumption.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it definitely, regardless, if they are punk kids, you're gonna find out and have to get to a point where you have to tell your kid
it's like you can't hang out with
can't
them.
hang out
Like,
with them. But I definitely think that approach, at least I know like a lot of parents were like that, where they would immediately write kids off for their initial, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Their first impression.
Yeah.
Like their first impression would turn them off, where I feel like parents, at least our parents' generation, could have been, at least from my experiences, they could have been better at trying to get to know these kids before writing them off.
Yeah.
And then once you get to know them, like the kids over at the house, or you've been around them, like you've seen them at school and stuff, and then you're like, there's punks, then make the decision of like, you can't be hanging out with them.
yeah. And then I think too is like I as an adult don't function well if there's no reason behind something. Like I don't do well with authority if I think authority is stupid.
Yeah.
So like I know my kid is probably going to be the same way. Like she's going to need to know why I think that this is a terrible person for you to hang out with, or like anything with being like a parent, like showing discipline. Because like I think about right now, Amelia likes to open up cupboards and like grab things and like play with things. It's like she's obsessed with our vinyls right now, and she just wants to pull them out, and she has no idea why I'm telling her no, or like there's no like. It's really hard to give her that distinction of like
No cause and effect.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is a problem. Like, let's not keep playing with this. Let's not throw Dad's Jimi Hendrix vinyl across the living room. Happened once. I was a little sad. Could have picked the Taylor Swift one. I don't know if anyone heard that. I mumbled a little bit on purpose.
We'll see.
Yeah. But it's like trying to like teach a small child that. It's like just thinking about like how the problems are going to get bigger too. It's sometimes terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like I want my kid to be better than me, but I also know that my kid is a version of me and my wife. And like, which qualities do you think? Like, I think about that a lot. It's like, which qualities is Amelia going to get for like personality wise? Because like my wife is very introverted in comparison to me.
Yeah.
Like, is Amelia going to be like that? And like things of the nature of like respecting authority. Kirsten definitely has a much greater respect for authority than I do. When we first got together, she wouldn't jaywalk because it's against the law.
You serious?
Yeah. I broke her. She jaywalks now.
Oh my gosh.
Love you. If you're watching.
I have
hope you watch.
I have a friend like that, Drew.
Yeah.
We just really quick, just because he's probably gonna watch this episode and I want him to hear. But we were in we were at Pensacola, Florida, for shooting a video for Jay Stu, and all of us crossed the road, and you just see Drew over there. He's just like, he's like, I'm not doing it. He walked like the crosswalk was like had to be like a 1/10 of a mile.
Yeah.
Down. He went all the way down, walked, came over.
Oh my god.
And then I think by the end of the trip, he finally was just like, screw it, I'm gonna jaywalk.
It's the same thing with like the blinking hands. Like when it's red but there's no cars coming, I'm like, I'm gonna walk. I'm not gonna stand here for another minute and wait. And she's like, no, we're not walking. I was like, but why? Like, there's clearly no cars on the road. It's just
rules are guidelines, they're not laws.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, but I guess you could get arrested for jaywalking, but
yeah, you got to be one petty cop.
But here's the thing:
it's a short bicycle.
No
cop.
one would ever became successful by following the rules.
Ooh.
Not to get deep, but if you look at any successful person, and by success I mean like I'm not saying super rich or anything, but someone who is doing what they want to do, someone like if you look at any like crazy successful photographers, you look at I don't know Steve Jobs, like people who did those things, like whether they own a business or are running a giant company. They didn't follow the rules. They didn't just do the thing when they went to school, college, got a degree, and got a 9-to-5. They all did
broke
their own
the mold.
Thing. Yeah, they broke the mold.
Yeah, but then there's a line between that. It's like doing everything that you want because you want, like to do it, and then it's like there's purpose-driven things that you're understanding that like I'm going to break this rule because, and like it gives you a cause and effect.
It's
for that.
not
like,
my house, my rules mentality. Like you're like I think that's part of the reason why I get like that, because my dad was like that when I was a kid.
Yeah,
he never gave the explanation. If I couldn't do something, it's because it was his house, his rules.
Yeah, and you're like, well, why can't I? So I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, so give an explanation. And if you tell me like,
tell me why.
And then it ends up turning out to a lot of me figuring out the hard way.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's why. Well, why did you just tell me that?
Exactly.
Like, give me that up front. But yeah, it's like that. That's what scares me with Amelia right now. It's like, is she going to be just like me with those?
Yeah, but I feel like because you're asking that question, I don't think. I mean, she might be, she might not be, but you're already making it. I feel like you're already taking that outcome away.
Yeah.
Because you're going to give her reasons.
That's true.
Because you wanted reasons, so you're going to give them. But then she might grow up thinking, I don't need you to explain everything.
Dad, just tell me.
I feel like that's what always happens with kids. Is like you always. It doesn't matter what parenting style you have. The kid's gonna not want what you, or the kid's gonna want what you didn't do.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It just no. Like that's why every generation, I feel like things just flip flop.
Yeah, but is that human nature? You want everything you don't have.
Exactly.
I'm short. I want to be 6 foot.
So is there even any point to parenting?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just literally when you said that, I just like had a montage in my head of like terrible examples of people in my head who I know like they weren't parented, and it's just like a slideshow went really quick in my head. I was like, oh yeah,
it's
parenting is good.
It's important.
I don't want my child to be a degenerate.
Yeah, I just feel like you gotta everything's with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Everything you do is planting a seed for when they get older and can make decisions for themselves to look back upon.
Wow, that is a good church reference. You just grew up. Sorry, I like said that really weirdly. I just thought about like
mustard seed,
all of those things of like us growing up in church with our parents.
To plant a seed, we came as Romans.
Yeah. Ooh. We came as Romans. I might be listening to them today.
Just aged yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine though.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something you just gotta you have to look at it, because I know I wouldn't say my parents are super proud of me today, but maybe they are.
Yeah, I think
like I could have been a lot worse based off the decisions that I made in high school.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that I am where I'm at today is because once I got to a certain point, I kind of reverted back to the basics of what my parents tried to teach me growing up.
Yeah, I think what they do is they give you a solid, like...
It's a foundation.
I would say a foundation.
A wise man built his house upon the rocks.
Oh my gosh.
Not the sand.
I just think about like a trajectory. Like my parents set up a trajectory of like what they wanted my life to look like, what they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
And so, say that's a straight line, and like me growing up was like this, and then I started to veer away, and like my choices aren't exactly what they would always want them to be. But I think like it always has a pull. Like you're always going to lean a little bit into like those good foundations that your parents gave you. You may never always make the choices that they're proud of. Like I got tattoos. I have a 3/4 sleeve, working on a second. Like I know my mom was not happy the first time I got a tattoo. But I think when I look at like overall like my life, I'd say my parents are pretty proud of me. Even though I've had plenty of mistakes. I've made some really poor choices along my way, but overall, like I would say that they're proud. So a foundation is good. And that's a hard thing too, is like I think about things with Amelia. I'm proud of her when she's like saying the colors to match like her little shape shorter. Words are hard. Like I'm proud of that. Like thinking about like her choices later in life. I'm gonna be proud of her just because she's my daughter.
Exactly.
But that was a long-winded rant of like what we're excited about, what we're scared of.
I know.
But oh man, another question along that is like we talked a lot about like that kind of growth. What's been the biggest challenge in like your 2 months, like your short time?
I'm just still so new to it that I still haven't really adjusted to having like free time. Yeah. I guess. And not necessarily like I talked earlier about not having time to pursue things, but for this specific question, it's like hanging out with friends, like personal free time. Because in order to do things, either me or Taylor has to leave one or the other home with him.
Yeah.
Like unless we like take him to Taylor's mom's house, mm-hmm. which she works nights usually. So I don't know. I think that's probably been one of the harder parts, like not related to trying to pursue a career in my free time, or whatever, but like that, I don't know, hanging out with like personal time.
Yeah.
Like just trying to do things like I used to, where it's like I hang out with friends, go out and get dinner is now it's an ordeal. Yeah. Like me and Taylor just can't say, hey, we're gonna grab a bite to eat. Like we have to get his bag ready, we have to load him up, take him. It's just I'm still adjusting to that. It's definitely, I'm not saying that it's horrible, but it's definitely been a challenge. Yeah. It's still adjusting to that. And then I feel like I'm always flaking on people. Like, I don't know. It just feels like people are always like, oh, you're typical, he's got a kid, now he's bailing.
Yeah. And it's like hard too it's like you never mind taking your kid with you, but there's also a point of view like where you still want to feel like an individual.
Yeah.
And you want to like be able to just go hang out with your friend, just that. But there's he's either being watched by somebody like a babysitter. You said Taylor's mom, or like Taylor staying at home with Oliver. It's the same thing with like Kirsten and I trying to find like time for her to be able to go do the things that she wants to. It's like, of course I never mind watching my daughter, but like, it's a give and take of trying to make sure we're both still individuals.
Yeah.
It's hard, and I think about that too. Is time like that is like Kirsten and I don't get to go on as many dates as we used to. It's hard to prioritize that when trying to find someone to watch Amelia so her and I can go away and go do something.
Yeah.
It has to be planned. It has to be an ordeal. As to where it used to be like, let's go grab dinner tonight. Let's go do this, spontaneous thing. Even if it wasn't anything crazy, it was just like split-second decision. All right, we're going to go do it. We're going to go spend time together. It's definitely a weird transition. But I think, too, is like a challenge I've had already, I think is, oh, man, I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this, is just trying to create, like, a structure in my life where, like, I can go out and do photography things or go out and do my hobbies without sacrificing, my time with my wife. And obviously our work schedules are very different. Kirsten works a very typical, 9-to-5 kind of style jobs. And I don't. I work mostly nights. And it's like I do get a lot of free time during the day, but it's like permitted, like I have to obviously, because I'm home more, I have to make sure I do stuff around the house, which I'm not upset about. Like I don't want to be coming across that I'm angry that I have to do stuff at home or I, clean. I never mind all of that, but like trying to find where I can do all of those things and then still plan out the time that I get to go do things I want, which unfortunately fall on like night times, like going out with friends, hanging out, doing stuff. It's like, it's a weird trying to find your balance between all of it. Parenting's hard.
Yeah.
And then you have to, it's like, we've talked about it before, you have to balance someone else's needs too. Like you have your kids and then your significant other's needs.
Yeah, you're basically, I don't know, it's pretty much like once you become a parent or even just in a relationship in general, like you basically have like this big, I don't know, it's like, I'm trying to think of a way to compare. Like, you have like a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
And like you used to have this big full bag of rocks, and now you gotta like divvy it up. And it gets to a point where like you only have like maybe 20% of your time now.
Yeah.
For yourself, when you used to have 100%.
Yeah.
And like now you have to find a way to fit all these things you want to do into this, like maybe 15-20% of what you used to have.
And I think that's like something that a lot of people don't talk about when like getting into relationships in your early 20s, like realizing like your time is not just your time, it's our time. Or then having a family, it's not just your time and your significant other's time, it's now divided into having a kid. And I don't want to say that to be like I'm miserable and I have no time. It's an adjustment and it's very different. And I don't think you realize, like, I don't want to say what you had when you were single or alone, because it's not what I want out of my life. I love my family, and I'm so gracious and happy that I have what I have. It's like everything I wanted as a 20-year-old. I just don't think you realize how your life shifts through it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's just kind of you're too young to realize how it's going to affect your life.
Yeah.
Like in the moment, you kind of just see it as fun, and how this person is, they're just going to be with me when I do all these things now.
Yeah.
And that ain't the case.
Yeah, I think about that too. It's like, I love skateboarding, and I was like, I really, like, Kirsten and I first started dating, like, I really wanted Kirsten to get in skateboarding and, like, grow and do these things, and she didn't take the interest that I had into it, which is totally fine, obviously. Like, I want her to love what she loves. But I had this, like, idea in my head that she's, like, gonna love this. Also, talking about future episodes, we have talks with a few people that we're trying to get as guests, trying to hammer down details, because we're still a very small podcast of us just trying to, have fun and grow and do things, but also, like, we have a trajectory that we want to hit, but, like, making sure that we can get people on and we respect their time. So we have that coming. We have some people that we want to have on, so I'm excited for what's coming.
It'd be fun to have some little comparisons.
Yeah.
I know we talk so much about going through fatherhood and stuff in our 20s, but it'd be cool to get perspective from people who are parents who are older and people who are our same age but still single. Like, so
I was like, cool. Everyone has different life experiences, so
exactly.
Trying to share it all with y'all. So see you next week. We're doing my double finger gun still.
No,
Oh, hold on. Knife check.
not today.
Ah.
Dang. Not the sweats.